Hello everybody, I'm John, this is JP Strategic Investments, and today we're going to talk about a pattern that I am seeing with CrowdStrike stock that is pretty bullish. And normally on this channel I talk a little bit more about fundamental analysis, right? What is happening with the company itself? How are the financials looking? Are there any new products coming out that could boost the company's sales and help it grow into the future? But technical analysis is a great tool that every investor, even if they're investing long term, should have at least a basic understanding of. And so I wanted to talk about something that I'm seeing with CrowdStrike stock here, and that is a very common, very well-known pattern within technical analysis called an inverse head and shoulders. And normally it's a pretty bullish signal in a stock. What we have here, right here in this blue line, and I have labeled the shoulders and the head, is the inverse head and shoulders pattern. So we have the first shoulder right here, then it drops down to the head and the next shoulder, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And this can also happen in the opposite direction, right? Where we'd have a normal head and shoulders. And that's actually a bearish pattern. And in case you're new to technical analysis, you haven't seen any of these before, these are just a few examples of some of your common what are called either breakout patterns or stock patterns, technical analysis patterns, things like that. And it shows you kind of what they tend to mean. So we see down here, inverse head and shoulders, we have a neckline or a resistance line, for those of you familiar with technical analysis terms. And we have the stock trying to break through that. Eventually it does. And we have a breakout to the upside. On the normal head and shoulders, we have a support line that the stock keeps getting pushed back up off of, but then the stock breaks through that support and breaks downward. So these are just a few of kind of your common breakout patterns. Again, none of this is a science. It doesn't mean 100% sure CrowdStrike is going to break to the upside because we're seeing an inverse head and shoulders. This is really more of an art form. It's something that should guide your investing and trading, but not necessarily determine it, right? So if we get back to the chart here, just to show you guys an example of this happening just less than a year ago with CrowdStrike stock, right here we have another inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? This is back in May to June of 2021, right? And look what happens right after this inverse head and shoulders. A big breakout to the upside. This is actually a classic example, head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders. Generally, the distance between the neckline down to where the head ends is usually the distance that the stock is implied to break out to the upside. So we have almost exactly that right here, this distance. If you do that same distance to the upside, that's right about where the stock broke to eventually. And the same thing can happen in reverse for a normal head and shoulders. So again, not a 100% indicator by any means, but it is a pretty good bullish sign for the stock. And also, for those of you, again, more into technical analysis, you'll notice this blue trend line here, this blue diagonal line. Not only is this a head and shoulders here, but the stock is also bouncing upward off of previous resistance, confirming it as support, and also breaking through this long-term yellow support line as well. So really good things looking like they're happening from a technical standpoint with the stock. Obviously, we're a few weeks away from earnings. We have CPI data that could come out tomorrow and just destroy the market, and this could just push the stock down. But from purely a technical analysis standpoint, definitely a bullish sign for the stock. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I noticed that and wanted to do a quick analysis there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you agree, if you notice the same pattern. Other than that, I will see you guys next time, and have a great day.